Hey everybody, it's Tim from Linessa Farms, Specialty in Heirloom Livestock. Thanks for joining us again today. So today we are getting ready to talk about what do we do with our lambs and our goat kids after they're weaned, but before they're old enough to put out on pasture or old enough to be with the adults. Stay tuned to find out more. All right, so here we are, and we've been getting a lot of questions about this. There's kind of that weird period of time when you're raising lambs and goat kids where they're a little too big to get in the creep where the other babies are, but they're too small to fend for themselves with the adults. And so what we want to do is we want to kind of look at how we deal with our animals. So, and this goes, I'm going to use sheep as an example, but this works for goats as well. So with sheep, obviously I have my ewes, and my ewes have their babies, and so we've got our lambs. And then our lambs kind of fall into three different categories. Our first category over here, this is going to be our meat animals. So we're going to say this is meat or market. And this middle one here, we're going to say these are our show animals, or our 4-H animals. And then over here we have replacements. So these are going to be like our new mamas, or maybe a new dad, maybe a new ram if we decide to do so. But we're going to start off exactly the same way with all of these. We're going to do this is how we do it here on our farm. We're going to do a 19 to 20% creep feed. And we're going to do that for all of these. They're going to get 19 to 20% creep feed until weaning. And weaning is about at 6 weeks. So at 6 weeks, that's when a few other things happen. So unless we have a customer that very specifically says that they want us to grow out our lambs a little bit more, this is when we are going to drop this. We're going to drop these animals down to about a 12% to a 14% creep. Or just regular ration. And this means they can get in kind of their own area. They're going to be on their own, but most of our animals are going to get sold at weaning. They're going to go to market at weaning. We're not going to have a whole lot of these extra ones left, but if we do, we're going to slow that down, slow that protein percentage down. Now our 4-H or our show lambs, they're going to blow right through this, and they're going to continue on this 19 to 20% for the remainder of their life cycle, or until we determine that they're no longer going to be breeding stock or show stock. And this is going to continue on. Essentially, this one is going to continue on as well until they're sold. So at the end, these are sold. Reality is these are sold too, or auctioned. And then over here with our replacement ewes, and it's usually our females, we're going to drop them down to that 12% to 14% as well. And we're going to hang out here. We may change the amount. The amount may vary that they're getting. We may start off at, a pound a head per day somewhere. So we're going to say approximately 1 pound to 2 pounds per animal per day, plus hay, and of course we're going to do 1 flake per head per day, and we're going to stay in this area for almost a year. And so we keep our yearlings and our new ewe lambs. We do not put them on pasture the first year. We do not put them out with the moms the first year. We're going to keep them up on dry lot. We're going to hand feed them hay. We're going to control their amount of grain so we get a nice, slow, consistent growth. Same thing here. We want Once we get to weaning, get to about that 6 to 8 weeks of age, this is where we drop our protein percentage down, and now we're going to get a nice, slow, quality meat, consistent growth. Only in the case of our 4-H lambs would we dare to keep feeding this heavy percentage. This has to be managed very carefully. There can be lots of bad things that can happen. You can cause animals to grow too fast. You can cause some tendonitis issues. You can cause laminitis. You can cause some issues with their feet to where their hooves are growing too fast. You have to watch their pastern sometimes. That is to say that spot on the leg where the animal's leg comes down and kind of meets the hoof. There's kind of that airspace behind there. What'll happen is the animal gets too heavy and this pastern starts to kind of rock back to where it sits more like that, and then you've got your toe up in the air. This is weak pasterns, and sometimes there's too much weight too fast pushing down on that foot, and you can goof up their pasterns and they'll be messed up forever. So, you know, the show feeding is completely different, and then the other two kind of go from there. So with that being said, let's head out to the pasture. Not to the pasture, excuse me, out to the feeding area, and I'll show you how we do this feed and how we control the separation process. We kind of hit a spot where things aren't separated out too well until our animals get out on pasture. Once all of our adults go out to pasture, we have lots more room here on the farm to kind of maneuver animals around and put them where we want them. But for right now, I'm going to show you how our setup is. All right, so here we are out in what we call one of our holding pens. Now, a holding pen is an area that we take our show lambs or an animal that we're trying to grow out, and we put them in a controlled environment. So these are show prospects. We don't know for sure if they're going to show or if they're going to be a 4-H lamb or not, but we have a pretty good idea that they might. The problem is they've not been handled, they've not been walked, and so these wethers, these are castrated males, these guys have not been handled a whole lot. So the benefit of this area here is it's very well controlled, it's very small. When we need to get them, we can come in, we can grab them, we can put the halter on them, we can come in here and sit with them, get them to relax, get them used to being around us, and it doesn't give them a lot of room to run. We don't want to put ourselves in a situation where we're trying to train these guys on how to walk on a halter or trying to teach them how to walk or eat out of a container like we had in our recent video, which you can actually see right here. So yeah, this is nice, but this is only nice for a short period of time. We wouldn't keep them in this small of a confined area for more than a few weeks. Once they get trained up and they get used to us, they'll actually be coming to us to go out and eat every day. There'll be no more need to chase them around the pasture. So this is a temporary, maybe 2 or 3 weeks top area that we have just to get these animals used to us, trained up, and ready to go. On the days where we may have bad weather or we have something going on late with the kids' functions at school or something like that, if we just need to feed them grain, we can just put it in the bottom of the feeder here, and we can also put hay in the top. These are very nice little feeders, very nice for this type of use. Not really good for really large animals or really large goats with horns. I also have my free choice mineral over here. I have my baking soda, and I have my free choice sheep mineral, and I also have clean water. So these are all things that you want to keep in mind, but again, very hard to keep clean, lots and lots of upkeep, and not a lot of room for them. So this again is just a temporary place for them to go until they get trained up, and then they can go out and be free with the rest of their buddies again. All right, so thanks for joining us again today. I know lots of information. If you have questions, let us know and we'll get back with you. We have videos talking about overfeeding. You know, controlling feed in this way helps to prevent overfeeding. Again, overfeeding is a problem. You don't want to do it, especially with your little ones. You can just overfeed them to death, and it causes lots and lots of long-term problems that you just don't want to deal with. If you need to know more about overfeeding, go ahead and check out our video link right here. Again, I really appreciate you watching our videos. We appreciate the thumbs up and all the great messages and feedback that we get from all of you. Very, very appreciative, so thank you very, very much. I'm Tim from Linessa Farms, Specialty in Heirloom Livestock. Thanks for joining us again today, and we look forward to seeing you again next time.